go. Hey everybody, I'm Garrett Fuller with MMORPG. I am with Jack Emmert, who is the CEO, you're still CEO of Cryptic, right?
Yeah, I am.
And under Perfect World, and we are here to talk about Neverwinter, and Dracoliches, and Forgotten Realms, and some of the really amazing work that Jack's team's been doing on the game. So I guess my first question, Jack, is the game's been in beta. You've had some really good beta weekends. We were lucky enough to get in as press, and I had a ball with the Trickster Rogue. How's the feedback been from your beta weekends on Neverwinter?
It's been really good. A lot of it is we crossed our fingers. We were talking actually just before the camera went on about the action combat. And when we decided to make this change to action combat a little over a year ago, it was pretty, revolutionary. It was pretty shocking to make that bet. But it seems to be paying off. People are really enjoying it. You know what? The main criticisms we get are, I want more character classes. And which is, that's fine, I'll live with that. Because to be honest, there was a turning point we had. Where we could have done more classes, but what we sat down and said, I'd rather have 5 amazing classes than 8 so-so classes.
Right.
And so we decided to focus, and look, we're free to play MMO. We're going to be adding new classes that are 100% free. We don't charge for any of that. And that's going to be coming on a regular basis. So I figured that will address that concern. And then the other concern is people want more powers and more abilities. And those are things which, again, come in time. So that's pretty good. So far, so good. But it's always scary. You never know until the game launches.
You touched on it, and I wanted to really ask about the combat. The combat mechanics for us blew us away last year at PAX. And I think the game won like Best in Show at PAX last year for us. And everybody instantly turned their radar to it, and we said, dude, action combat, it was really amazing. And you said you had really studied some other games, started looking at some things, and you built such a dynamic combat system. It's been great. So what was that journey like for you guys to build it out?
It was controversial.
It always is, right?
It was not without, because we had been developing Neverwinter under Atari with very traditional MMO, traditional RPG game mechanics, but I felt that there are so many games out there, so many great games that offer those game mechanics, that it's been done, it's there, and it's how are we going to stand apart? How are we going to be special or unique? Now granted, we've got user-generated content, and that's a big thing, but I felt that the moment-to-moment gameplay had to be unique, and as I mentioned, it was really Vindictus, and when I played that, it was like an eye-opening experience of what MMO combat could be. And I that was kind of a starting point. And to a lesser degree, a game like DCUO, which was also action combat oriented, because it was made for the console too. And I think those kind of had the gears kind of going in my head, and I sat down and said, okay guys, everything we've done so far, we're going to stop, we're going to change to combat. Actually, before I take too much praise here, I had a team of guys internally. I'll even say their names, Kevin Stocker and Chris Chamberlain. And we had another game that we were working on, just a very small team of great guys that were doing an action combat like this, but it was going to be a PvP system, a PvP game, small instance-based. And I was so convinced they had done such great work that combat belonged in Neverwinter. So we shut the one game down, and we put those game mechanics into Neverwinter, of course working with the Wizards of the Coast to make sure that we were still maintaining true to the IP. And a lot of people weren't happy about it, but I think it's all paid off pretty well. I
think so. I think you always take a risk internally when you start to develop that. And I remember certain games that, Roll the Dice. Vindictus was one of them too, and I loved their systems. It was really great. So I think it's paid off for you guys. Once the fans got a hold of it, you start to see how dynamic the game is. It's really great. I want to shift gears a little bit and talk about the IP, because I played Forgotten Realms campaign all throughout the 90s. I know you're a big D&D player.
So I started playing in '79.
Oh, well, I was 6, and I played, I had my first box set.
No, when I started playing, it was chainmail. When I was in summer camp. It's real old school. And of course, I'm a fixture at Gen Con each and every year. Gen Con, for those of you who don't know, is the big convention for paper and pencil role-playing games. And that happens once a year in Indianapolis, and of course D&D is a prominent part of it. So yes, I've been playing D&D. In fact, last night I hung out with my old DM who lives here in Boston.
How awesome is that? That's what gaming's really all about.
Yeah, it is. And we were talking about, hey, with Neverwinter we can start the old campaign up. We were honest to gosh talking about this.
It's great. But what has it been like working with the Forgotten Realms and the Neverwinter IP? It's got to be awesome. You guys like Salvatore and Ed Greenwood and all these great names coming into play. How has that been for you?
It's really nice. A lot of these guys I'd kind of known, friends of friends, but because back in the day I used to write paper and pencil role-playing games.
Sure.
But now really getting a chance to work with them and get to know them better. The most amazing part about it is, R.A. Salvatore, Bob Salvatore, you read his books, they're formative for many people. Yeah. But he's just he's a gamer, he's just a guy.
Absolutely.
And it's funny, when I was younger and I saw his name on the books and I read the trilogy and I went to Menzo Berenzin and with those books, and then to interact with him, and he's just a person like anybody else, is always pretty shocking to me.
Yeah.
It never ceases to amaze me.
No, it's super cool. It's super cool. So I want to end with a couple of points, which is, what's your favorite class? I love the Trickster Rogue. I love it. I love the BAMF abilities and everything, but what's been your favorite class to play in the game?
So I'm a Guardian Fighter. I always love aggro management and protecting the team. I've done that ever since, City of Heroes.
Sure.
So Guardian Fighter, bar none. And my favorite part of the game is when you get into dungeons with 4 other players.
Yeah.
You queue up, boom, you're there, and man, you got to make a go of it. And that the emergent interaction, the emergent gameplay that happens when 5 people who don't know each other are trying to cooperatively work together. It's exciting and it's fun, and that's what I think makes all MMOs great, but in particular our MMO with the action combat, because it's not just a matter of taunt, guy comes over here, because now I have to block as a Guardian Fighter, I have to maneuver out of the way of the damage splats. It's more interactive than the traditional MMO experience, I think.
Yeah, I think it's great. And my next question, which that came up in the demo we played, was the interaction was really strong. But my final question for fans is talk about the Foundry System. Yeah. Because I think in some ways, you were talking about DM, having dinner with your old DM, and we've all dungeon mastered at one time or another. It's like a dream come true for players to have those tools. So that's always a big part of this game. I think it's really cool.
And we haven't even opened that up in beta yet. See, that's what's amazing, is that there's a whole second half of this game, right? Everybody's playing Neverwinter and they're loving it, and we're getting feedback, and we've got this great line here. But guess what, gang? It's only half the game. The other half is the Foundry, the ability for players to create content for each other. Full campaigns, full settings, full everything, storylines, and we do have a great bunch of alpha testers. Thank you guys. They're in now making content that you can get in and play in beta, and it's amazing. There are storylines that'll have you on the edge of your seat, and really the ability for us virtually to create the same magic that we had sitting around a dining room table rolling dice, moving, the old lead base, because before they were pewter and plastic, they were lead. They were lead miniatures on a grid. But now I can take that same fun and with my old friends get together and do those adventures in the Foundry. That's really magical, and I think that's the special part. I think Neverwinter is a great MMO, but what will set it apart from the other great MMOs in this hall is that here you can create it. It's your game.
Yeah. I think it's great. I think it's a great way to end it. Thanks so much, Jack, for taking time.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you this afternoon at the panel. It's going to be exciting. And guys, check out Neverwinter. The beta is going to be, I think the beta is this weekend, right?
Yes, it is. Get in now.
And more stuff's coming up soon. I don't want to ask about launch and all that, but I know people are excited. So
stay tuned.
Stay tuned. So thanks again, Jack. We'll see you guys soon.